John approached me about The Long Good Friday, which was originally going to be a television film. And I remember we had a dinner in a restaurant in Soho to talk me into it. Why he thought he had to talk me into it, I don't know, but who knows what was going on at the time. I know I was getting other offers, and this came along, and I was unsure about this because it was TV. And I wanted to do feature films. And I thought, now I'm getting feature films now. Do I want to go back into television? So initially I was resistant, amazingly so, talking about a film that's now 14 on the list of best British films of all time. And but I was resistant to it in the beginning. And then as time went by, I realized that, you know, I was probably making a mistake here, that John really was a good director. It was quite a clever idea. And also the script was changing and it was getting better. And so eventually I obviously agreed to do it. And then once we started it, it was decided that it wasn't going to be a TV show, it was going to be a feature film. Although I think, if my memory serves me right, we formatted it as 4:3 for television and also 185 for cinema. So I think we kept the spaces clear. And I think some of the early transfers of it onto DVD thought it was 4:3. And it wasn't. So when the restoration that's on this disc, I was able to put it at its correct ratio, 185:1. So that was interesting to do. And actually doing the DI of it, it made it, like Alan Clark said, it allowed me to get things right that were difficult to get right before, because on film, we didn't have the controls we have now with digital and computers and stuff like that. There's one scene in the movie where Bob Hoskins giving a speech and the Tower Bridge is behind his head, and it was the darkest day of the English summer. Typically it was July and it was like the darkest day, and the more I had a little lamp on him, and the more we went down the river it got darker and darker and darker, and of course it looked sort of not well lit because it was like he was getting bright in the background. I didn't want to stop the actor because Bob Hoskins was an intuitive actor, and John didn't like you stopping the actors anyway. And I don't think we did a second take. I think John said, look, he looked at me and he said, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it from Bob. He says, I don't really want to do it again. And I thought, well, maybe it won't be as bad as I thought. But if you see the original print, you can see that the background, as the shot goes on, gets slightly darker as we went along. So in the DI, I was able to fix that and actually keep it all looking even all the way. So that was one useful thing of doing a DI.